super close to being an invincible army, to be honest. Like, as far as what can a Zerg do, it's got to be like super right angle. He's got to have infestors for fungal growth, 9 million minerals.
Alright.
So let's talk about this though real quick. I mean, on this map, I feel like in this situation, this becomes invincible, right? You attacked his 4th down a ramp specifically, and that's like a nightmare situation on any other map, but here we just kind of chalk it up as that's what you have to do, which is true. But let's think about that in the future. Like, you got to be planning, like, okay, there's no way in shit I let him take a 4th base with this build because it's just not going to work. It's not going to... I can't stop that. So you have to be looking to hit him there and resaturate and re-go. And I think there was one moment of opportunity where that was kind of vulnerable before the mothership came out. He was down to no cannons there, and he had like 4 Colossus and 2 Void Rays or whatever. That was the heavy hitters in his army. I think you could have done a point of conflict with him there if you just kept shoving, but it's really hard. And even then, I could be wrong. You could, I mean, maybe it gets squashed and I look like an idiot, but that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I feel like the best bet I would have had there would have been to Neural Parasite the mothership, to be completely honest. But I don't even know if that would have made a difference.
I think infestors are important, especially against Void Rays. Not like 9 or 10 infestors, but like 3 or 4, and fungal growthing them and doing 35 damage each time. I think that's really important. Also, when you fungal growth, it does reveal them. So if the Overseers die or aren't present, that's another way to detect.
All right. So in our series, that means we're 2-1 now. So that is Scrap Station my auto pick?
If you're the standard Zerg, yeah. I mean,
right.
it doesn't have to be. But
we'll go ahead and take Scrap, and we'll play it like so say you're me in this situation. You're the Zerg player. Yeah. You've won 2 games. You just lost 1. You pick Scrap. How are you going to play this map?
This is just the standard Zerg map. Like you don't go Muta, but the threat of Muta actually changes his play, and then you just aggressively expand just like you did. The nice thing about this is that there's just points of conflict and points of interest. The 3rd for the Protoss is really hard because you should already be massing in the middle. So for him to take that base, it's actually really hard for him to do that, right? The only thing that's strong here for a Protoss is like a 2-base timing, a big 2-base timing. So you have to identify that. If he is doing a big 2-base timing, you got to sit on 3 bases and just 3 versus 2 and do the best you can to clash that way. Does that make sense?
Yes. Sorry, I was just fixing the stream stuff that he mentioned.
No problem.
So that is fixed. No problem. All right. All right, so here we are, 2-1. I'm gonna play it pretty standard here, and try to just try to win on the backs of good macro and things like that. But still, we're gonna be aggressive, and we're gonna try to keep him on his toes.
Yep, and psychologically, you just need to understand that as a Protoss, if he's up in the times, it's 2-base timing is the big thing.
All right.
Stargate play is stronger here as well, just because if they come down that middle, they have that perfect angle, so you cannot fight them in that middle alleyway. You have to hit them you have to meet them at the mouth. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I think the better choice is like once they are moving through there, have the ability to move in and hit their natural, hit their main or whatever, and force them to come back.
Cool. Cool.
This is a map where Zerg has no excuse for not knowing everything the Protoss is doing. Your Overlord's there 10 seconds into the game.
Yeah. And
from that point forward, you need to have speed Overlords and Overseers just literally just like flies perusing his base, just what's going on over here, blah blah blah. There's nothing he can do about it.
It's a Monopoly guy Overlord. Alright. So how do you feel about Hatch first?
I think a lot of Zerg... I like it, first of all, let me just say that. A lot of Zergs opt for that in this map, and that's good. But you have to just know that a lot of Protoss know that a lot of Zergs like to open with that, so you have to be really looking for like proxy gateways, which is something I personally do on here quite frequently. or you have to be watching for them blocking your hatchery, and then what do you follow it up with? If you're uncomfortable with the follow-up, you shouldn't be doing that here.
Gotcha. I am comfortable going hatch first. I'm comfortable getting it blocked. So we're going to try to hatch first. And even if he blocks it, I might pull an Idra and just put a hatchery down next to the pylon. Of course, that was.
Oh, is that what? That's what Idra does?
He did it against QXE on this map.
Oh right, yeah, he puts it down like the old Brood War days.
Yes. This might not be as good of an idea against Protoss, but we will see.
We require more minerals. We require more minerals.
Forge, or is that a gateway?
Cybernetics core. Shaping up to be pretty standard. Did you see how much gas he had in his main?
I just saw that. No, I didn't check the assimilator. I just saw that he built it.
Okay.
I'm gonna get really greedy and go 3 hatch.
Yep. But I would have liked to have seen like that second Overlord at his base. If you're gonna send a drone over there to occupy the probe, then the Overlord's not actually doing anything for you.
Gotcha.
If you don't have the drone there, then of course that Overlord's good.
Alright. Zealots. It's a little different.
Yes, and the 2 Zealots really tip you off.
Make me nervous for sure.
Absolutely. And this is like, I will scream this to the heavens for every single Zerg listening that watch Mr. Bitters right now because he did the exact right thing. Not wait until lair, not making speedlings just yet. Actually going with the Roachborn. If you see that fast, or not fast, but second Zealot, the guy is doing a 4-gate. And his Overlord should have spotted out the expansion spot.
Yeah, he did.
You should be upgrading metabolic boost though, because you're not going to make like, you know, just roaches. You actually want speedlings as well, because he'll just switch to, he'll just switch to stalkers and crush you if you don't have speedlings.
I feel like there's going to be a pro in my base all of a sudden.
Look at all those Zealots.
Oh no, he's leaving.
Get the Zerglings off the wall. That's a lot of Zealots, so you should be making roaches right now. And you should try to run in his base. Oh, he blocked it off. Interesting. And these Lings cannot fight those Zealots. It cannot be the Zerglings. The Zerglings have to be for the Stalkers that you at least saw coming at his home. And you want to try to pick off the pylon to buy you more time with those Lings, but you can't take extra hits from those Zealots. Okay, so you should see him hitting that destructible rock. So move the Zerglings in, check out the scenery. Sentry, kind of interesting. Don't lose that Overlord. That hurts. Okay, it's completely random. So that Overlord hurts you, and you're about to lose another one. So this is actually really bad. That hurts a lot. Don't rush to engage. You want to engage at the last possible moment. So you had those Zerglings at the right angle, which was good. but I feel like you just engaged way too fast. And I'll talk about this more when you're not freaking out right now. You gotta watch your overlords though, they are like rushing in to help and they can't. Pretty good micro. Now it's just the roaches. I mean, this isn't all in. If you can get enough lings out here. He's looking at those roaches and he's thinking, okay, I need to make stalkers. Pick off that pylon. You know the pylon's there. The pylon's actually what's killing you. Your queen's off that hatchery, which hurts. She's not able to... Not looking good, my friend.
I think I'm dead.
Yep.
Alright.
Okay, so a couple things, and this is actually huge. This is awesome for us in terms of information, but did you see how long it took him to kill that middle hatchery?
Yes.
Okay, and this is actually a super, super important point. 9 times out of 10, Zergs face this, and they just throw shit at them. They just launch lings, they launch roaches, they, sure they're trying to get the lings on the stalkers and the roaches on the zealots. Sure they're trying to, micro them around and get the proper angle. That's all good, but actually the most important aspect of that engagement was that you engaged way too fast. Okay. He pulled up to the hatchery, and you behaved in a way that suggested like he's able to one-touch the hatchery and it's gone. When in fact that's not the case. Let him hit it as much as he can till it's like half or 3/4 its health, or you can even determine, you know what, in order for me to survive this fight, he's got to kill that, and I need to attack when my broodlings are engaged in the fight as well. I can't save it. And that's a really hard choice to make, because obviously it goes against everything, that's about this game. You don't want to lose buildings and use that as your opportunity to attack. That's, of course, not the strategy, but sometimes it's the necessity. And I would say in this situation, that absolutely was the case. Okay, so you saw him moving in, you were like, gotta go. So you had a queen and 2 roaches like pinching themselves between the hatchery and the wall. You had zealots or not zealots, but roaches and zerglings coming up the back. But they didn't, there was like 6 zerglings and 2 roaches. They were never going to do anything. And you still almost held that off, is the thing. So in the future, as a Zerg, you need to go, oh, okay, he's 4-gating me, and you should have known that the second you saw, 7 zealots or whatever at his base. And you should say, I'm going to mass up as much as I possibly can and wait as long as I possibly can. The only time you'd ever have to rush a fight is if the guy rolls in with 4 sentries as well. And obviously, you can't be like, well, go ahead and run up that ramp and have your way with my base. I'll be down here waiting because iNcontroL said to. No, that's not the right moment, obviously. Then you have to rush a little bit. But those sentries are also softer, so that moment is kind of made for you.
Right.
But in this situation, he had a one-hit punch, and if he were to lose out in that big fight, you are going to reinforce from 2 or 3 hatcheries right there faster than he's going to warp in with cut probes. I guarantee it.
Cool.
The next thing, the second priority real quick, I know I'm a long-winded guy,
continue,
is you got to pick off that pylon. So we were able to focus down on that as eventually.